All right, part 3 of Jaren Lockhart. So what they did initially in Hammond, they find these two in a car and they pull them over for a blinker. When the cops say that they're pulling you over for a blinker, they're telling you and they're waiting for you to not use your blinker. So they try to get both of them and he runs, but he is recaptured. They both go to jail. He goes to North Carolina on those offender charges. She's released after 2 months. Eventually, while he is in jail in North Carolina, he gets wind that Margaret is with another guy. They're monitoring all of their emails back and forth. So while their emails are being monitored, they come across one from Terry on June 5th of 2013. It says, "I want to tell everything. I did everything to clean up the mess that we made, and this is the thanks that I get." Basically saying, I want to tell everything so you can suffer like I suffer. And he says, "You're the one that's going to fry, not me." He also mentioned some other disturbing things like, do you remember the boots? Do you remember the underwear? Like some things that I'm not going to repeat on here. And basically says, "Shall I go on? You can stop this by being who you said you are, my wife. Next time I go into more detail." In another email in December, he tells her, "You have till Monday to convince me that you're not marrying another man." So anyway, in May of 2014, they rearrest Margaret. They're officially indicted by a grand jury for second-degree murder, obstruction of justice, and conspiracy to obstruct justice. And in October of 2014, Terry is expedited to Jefferson Parish. At the trial, 11,566 pages of interesting history is shown to the jury, along with 51 images of Jaren's torso, 25 images of her head and her calf, and 62 images of her head and her clothes. There were some other inmates that also testified on what Terry told him while he was behind bars that was even further incriminating. And apparently one of them bragged that they murdered other people and fed their organs to their dog. Ultimately, he is sentenced to 100 years for second-degree murder, and Margaret is sentenced to manslaughter and obstruction of justice, and she gets 40 years. She took that plea deal to avoid a mandatory life sentence. All of this stuff with Jaren causes a lot of people that knew Margaret to speculate whether she had something to do with the dismemberment of Addie Hall. I don't know if that's just speculation or who believes that and who doesn't, but it is very weird that this one person knows someone who was dismembered, that was a good friend, supposed good friend, and also took place in a dismemberment. Like I said before, y'all, weird stuff happens in New Orleans. It's just freaking sad. See y'all next time.